where do I retire in Southeast Asia? Now, when it comes to retirement, we have to understand what it means. Most people that want to retire want somewhere quiet. When we look at places like Thailand, it can get pretty chaotic. There are many options in Thailand where you can go. And I believe personally, Thailand is an amazing spot, but it can get expensive. And other options are like Vietnam. Vietnam doesn't offer quiet. It doesn't offer space. It doesn't offer privacy, and past the cheap section of it, Vietnam doesn't really offer real longevity when it comes to living there. And when it comes to Cambodia, Cambodia is a great spot. I really do like that country. It's just the problem with this, once you get out of the tourist spots, you're just living in a factory town. There's not a lot to do. There's not really a lot to see. And that leads us to our final spot. That is, I find, one of the most ideal spots to retire in Southeast Asia. It does have some restrictions that we're going to talk about, but that country is Laos. So I'm going to give you a breakdown of what it is to live out there, the cost of living, your day-to-day expenses, and overall why it's a better spot to live if you do choose to retire out here. So let's get to the most important thing first. Life is cheap. The Lao kip is rather weak. It's actually going down a lot. So you got the 1,000, the 2,000, the 5,000, 10, 20, up to 100,000 kip, right? And if you saw the video we did some time back in our vlogs, we went to an ATM. And this was me being stupid, apparently. I pulled out $500 USD and I got about 105, 108, 100K bills. So their money is very small. You can see like the biggest bill is only about $4.50. So it is a very small thing. And this reflects how the cost of living is in Laos. Everything is relatively cheap. Now, when it comes to the daily meals, you're looking at like 15 to 25 kip per meal. This is a full meal, full plate of rice, full of whatever, right? Like you get everything covered in that. When it comes to the hotels, you're looking between 100 to 150, so about $4 to $6 a night in most spots. If you get a bunked like hostel, you share a dorm room, you can get down to like right about 50 cents to $1 sometimes. Now, if you want to get something a little nicer, you're looking at about 200 to 300 kip, and you're getting really nice houses. We were out in Paxi and we stayed at a nice place for 4 days. That was right about 250 kip a night, and it was a full-blown house, which was really nice. And when it comes to the transportation, like taxis, use the Grab app. You're looking at like 10 to 20 kip to get you from A to B pretty much anywhere. If you just flag a taxi down, you're not going to get scammed like you would in Vietnam, where they're always hustling you out of some money. You're going to get a pretty good rate. It'll be a little more, of course, but it's not going to be like a scam back. And when it comes to buying stuff like going to a market or trying to buy like a chair or something like that, go to the markets. You can pretty much buy everything. I feel like the markets in Laos they're kind of like Walmarts. They just have everything everywhere. And funny enough, you'll have big super centers in Laos, especially in the capital. And probably within a 5-minute walk, you'll see a supermarket, street market, selling the same exact thing for like 30, 40% off. If you are buying stuff, you have an option to save a lot of money. And if you really want to save money out here, I'm going to give you this same hack I tell everybody on every video and every conversation I have. Make a local friend. When you make local friends, you will be able to save 30 to 50% on your day-to-day living and your monthly expenses without problems. Remember, Lao people are out here living on $150 a month for a family. So there's no reason why you can't come out here and live on a similar budget. Obviously, you don't want to live on that budget because you are sacrificing a lot. If you do make friends, they can start showing you where you can save 10 or 20% here and there on things that you buy, especially when it comes to real estate. And the big one that's always asked about is the healthcare. Healthcare in Laos is extremely cheap. You're talking $2 or $3 to get basic stuff done. Getting full body checkups like $7, and it's done on the fly. You're not waiting in a waiting room for 6 hours. I've been to 4 hospitals just doing checkups and other stuff. I noticed they all spoke pretty damn good English. We've talked about English in different videos with Lao. In Lao, if they speak English, is usually really good, and the ones that don't speak English, they just don't speak any English. So if they start talking to you in English, be prepared for a pretty good conversation. When it does come to the medical, you are going to have a pretty good experience. Now, if anything serious happens, we're talking heart attacks, tumors, and cancer, stuff like that, you're going to be flying out to Vietnam or Thailand at that point. You're not going to get a lot done, unfortunately. The healthcare in Laos is cheap, but it is also very basic. Dealing with the visas. Now, this part is for you guys that aren't going to get married, just to give you an idea of what to expect in Laos if you want to live here. I think Laos is one of the most strict countries in Southeast Asia when it comes to immigration. Surprisingly, saying they're one of the most poor as well. When you do come out here, you get 30-day visas. There are a few programs you can do where you pay $90 to get 3 months out here. After 6 months, you're out. And getting a work visa in Laos is extremely hard. Again, this is why if you're getting married, this is ideal. It's a little more challenging if you're trying to just be out here as a tourist living. And speaking of strict laws, if you are living out here and you're dating a Lao person, you are not legally allowed as a single male sleeping in the same house or living in the same house as a single female woman that's Lao. This is illegal. This is strictly enforced. You will have neighbors snitching on you. Hotels will report it. This is extremely illegal in Lao. And I've got to talk to a lot of married Lao people out here. They were getting visits for like the first 4 months, verifying the marriage certification. If you are caught, you will be kicked out of Laos and you will be possibly blacklisted from the country. I know Vietnam has this law in like Halong Bay and a few other cities where it's kind of overlooked for some bribe money. In Laos, it is no joke. So if you're not married to the Lao person, do not stay with them. You're not going to be living in a house with them until you get married. If you're serious about it, just get married. Plus you get the long-term 5 or 10-year visa to stay out here anyways. So why Laos over anywhere else in Southeast Asia? It's pretty much peace over chaos. When it comes to just quiet, peace, relaxed, Laos wins hands down. There is just no other country in Southeast Asia that compares to how calm Laos is. There is nowhere. I promise you. Challenge me. And you'll also notice that the people are way more relaxed. And this is just because a lot of families just kind of live. They do the basics to get by. Everything's kind of taxed, so it's really hard to do like independent work on the side. Most people are just doing enough to get by, and that's kind of it. So with that, you're going to get this vibe of like more of a chill, relax with a lot of the Lao people, where they're not really motivated to push. You're not going to get a David Goggins Lao version out here. They get enough money, they do what they got to do, and that's kind of it. This isn't everybody, but this is a vast majority of people. Now, when it comes to the traffic, this is where it's just like heaven sent. Where you got places like Thailand where it's a little aggressive. You got places like Vietnam where it's low IQ driving. Lao is very chill and calm. People don't even drive the speed limit most of the time. They're under the speed limit. And if you cross the road, they stop for you. Honking is not a thing unless it's like an emergency, which it should be. If you do honk in Lao, everybody stops and they kind of look around like, what's going on? The overall traffic experience for me, for the many times I've been to Lao, you don't worry about traffic accidents in Laos because everyone's very mindful of what's going on around them. So when it comes to that, noise doesn't exist. And I know a lot of you guys are going to probably comment below, well, you know, Hanoi has 8 million registered bikes, so of course it's loud. And I get that. Laos is nowhere near that number. I get that. This is more of a cultural thing. Like the people just don't do it. Even if things are going slow and people are in the way or some guys trying to back up for some reason around, people just kind of wait. They don't try to fight around it. They don't honk at them. They just kind of wait. If you are, let's say though, hit by a car in Laos, I actually saw this when we were in Pakistan. One guy got hit by another guy coming out and everybody stopped. The guy in the car pulled, like he pulled over. He didn't just stop in the middle of the road like you see in Vietnam. And everything kind of just went through its process, which was a really cool thing. The guy hit him and he stopped, and I don't know if he took accountability, but he at least stopped and tried to see what was going on and try to help out, right? So it is definitely a lot safer country when it comes to the traffic. And number 4, living like the locals. It's important to know that Lao people on average make about $120 to about $290 a month as a family, as a house unit. People live pretty well. They got what they need to go. They do this on pretty much $300 for families of 4 or 5, right? So if you start making friends, you make a local friend or you get married out here, you can live in Laos for like $500-600 a month and live very comfortably. Especially if you're living here, you marry a Lao person and you get a house. You're probably looking at a couple $100s a month rent for a 2 or 3 bedroom house. All your food is going to be way cheaper because your wife's going to know where to go. And when it comes to like electronics and stuff like that, they're so rarely bought that they're so cheap at this point. Now, if you are out here on your own, you're not getting married and you want to know where to meet friends, when it comes to Laos, you're going to want to be at places like Tinder, WhatsApp, going to like Facebook groups, stuff like that, and just type it in there like, hey, I'm a foreigner living in this city in Laos. Is anybody out here that can help me out with this or that? And you're going to meet a lot of Lao people that are willing to help you, be friends with you, and they want to be friends with us because they want to like experience the language more with real people. And if you do decide to use Tinder, that's perfectly fine. Tinder isn't used like you would think it is when it comes to Lao, because again, you can't live with people like that. You can't really get a hotel room with a Lao girl. It's illegal. And the Lao people know how serious this is because they get in trouble with it too. My suggestion on this, if you do set up a Tinder, put in the description your intentions. Like, hey, I'm just looking to make friends, yada, you know, stuff like that. Start the ball off correctly. Don't put some stupid shit in there. So with all the good going on here, we need to talk about what is the catch to this. Now, the first one is just, it's not a modern country. There is no real way to buy yourself in a modern lifestyle here. When you live in places like Vietnam, it's a very unmodern country. It's an uncivilized country in general, but you could still get westernized stuff in a westernized living situation, right? When it comes to Laos, this is almost impossible unless you're in the capital or in a massive city, which is bordered by Thailand, where you're getting stuff shipped across, right? Getting a new big OLED flat screen is not something you're really going to pull off. If you want to buy a brand new MacBook, it's going to be a very challenging thing to get through. Be prepared for that. If you do have personal tech things that you want while you live out here, you're probably going to want to pick them up on the way to Laos, not expect to buy them in Laos. Now, when it comes to the medical, we've already kind of talked about this already. Laos has an amazingly fast, cheap medical system, but it is very, very basic and limited. So if you do come out here with something serious, you're not going to make it very far with this medical, and they will advise you to probably go to Thailand or Vietnam. The medical here is very, very limited. Now, another big one is the currency. Lao money is not really a strong currency in Asia or the world. Over just the last year, it's dropped almost 29%. My advice on this is take out the money you need for the month. Do not come out here with $5,000, $6,000, convert it all to KIP and just live on it, because that money is going to fluctuate and it's probably not going to be for the best reason. So hold your money in Bitcoin, USDT, or even just USD. And as you need money, converts it over. That's the best thing you do with the money. And then the very last one, this is for people that want to get shit done. I get that if you come out here to retire, you're kind of calm, kind of chilling, right? But if you're trying to get things done fast, if you're trying to get an order done quick, if you're just in a hurry in general, Laos is not going to be the spot for you. Laos is a very slow, relaxed country. So if you're retired, you're probably looking for more quiet. You can get your own work done. You can relax at the beach, stuff like that. This is going to be perfect for you. But if you're out here as a busy, motivated person, you're going to get frustrated. You're going to be mentally bored all the time because there is nothing going on pretty much all day. So that covers pretty much all the basics for if you decide to get married, move out to Laos, and just live your life retired in a very chill spot. Probably one of the most chill spots you'll ever find in Southeast Asia, but at a cost. If you have more questions about Laos, definitely leave comments below. If you want to see Laos in real time or vlogs and stuff, check out our Laos vlogs. And if you are dead set on Vietnam for some reason for retirement, check out our Vietnam vlogs and a lot of our Vietnam videos. I talk about how to get teaching jobs out there. I talk about the retirement options in Vietnam, and I talk about life living in Vietnam. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for watching. I will see you again.